Hello! This will be a demonstration of Proposition 17 from Book 8 of Euclid's Elements, which says that if a cube number does not measure a cube number, neither will the side measure the side. But if, on the other hand, conversely, the side does not measure the side, then neither will the cube measure the cube. Much like the previous proposition, this is a contrapositive, specifically a contrapositive of Proposition 8.15. And because it's a contrapositive, it's going to follow much of the same logic as the previous proposition 8.16. Now, we're given two cube numbers, a and b. We're also given their sides, c and d, such that c cubed makes a and d cubed makes b. But because the enunciation has two different givens, there are going to be two different things set out before us. Either the number a, the cube number a, does not measure the cube number b, or the side c does not measure the side d. If first the cube number a does not measure the cube number b, we want to prove that the side c does not measure the side d. But if, on the other hand, we're given that the side c does not measure the side d, we want to prove that the number a does not measure the number b. Let's deal with that first case, where the number a does not measure the number b. What we want to prove from this, remember, is that number c does not measure the number d. For if the number c does measure the number d, the side will measure the side. But we know from Proposition 8.15 that if the side measures the side, then the cube will also measure the cube. Again, that's Proposition 8.15. So if the side c measures the side d, then the cube a measures the cube b. But this is contrary to our given. We were given that the number a does not measure the number b. And so the number a both does not and does measure the number b, which is obviously impossible. So what follows from this is that the number c does not, in fact, measure the number d. But if, on the other hand, on the converse, we are given that the number c does not measure the number d, we want to prove that neither does the number a measure the number b. For if the number a does measure the number b, then the cube will measure the cube. But again, we know from Proposition 8.15, the first part of it as opposed to the second, that if the cube measures the cube, then the side will measure the side. So because the cube number a measures the cube number b, the side c must measure the side d. But again, this is contrary to what we were given. We were given that the number c does not measure the number d. So again, the number c both does not and does measure the number d, which is obviously absurd. So we can conclude that the cube number a does not measure the cube number b. And this is what we wanted to prove, which means we're done with the proposition, therefore, etc. q, e, d. Before I end the video, I would like to give an example with particular numbers. So say the cube number 8 does not measure the cube number 27. This, in fact, is true. 8 does not measure 27. Then what follows from this is that the side of 8 does not measure the side of 27. You'll remember what the side of a cube number means in modern terms is the cube root of that number. So what's the cube root of 8? Well, it's 2. What's the cube root of 27? Well, that's 3. So 2 is the side of 8, 3 is the side of 27. And so it follows from the fact that the cube number 8 does not measure the cube number 27 is that the side 2 does not measure the side 3. 2 does not measure 2. We can verify that this proposition holds. But if, on the other hand, we are given that the number 2 does not measure the number 3, and this is a true statement, then the cube on 2 does not measure the cube on 3. What is the cube on 2, or 2 cubed? Well, that's obviously 8. And what's the cube on 3, or 3 cubed? Well, that's 27. And so it follows from the fact that 2 does not measure 3 is that the cube number 8 does not measure the cube number 27. We can verify that this is true, so this proposition holds. That's all I've got to say about this one, so I'll end the video here and move on to Proposition 8.18.